Have you ever noticed how the harder you chase someone who keeps pulling away, the faster they seem to disappear? Today we explore the emotional shortcut to getting an avoidant to open up, and it might surprise you how backwards this approach really is. Picture this scenario. Someone you care about starts becoming distant, cancelling plans, taking longer to respond to messages. Your natural instinct screams at you to pursue harder, to prove your worth, to convince them of your feelings. But here lies the cruel irony that governs human psychology. The very actions that feel most natural often push avoidant people further into their protective shells. What most people miss is that avoidant attachment isn't about not caring. These individuals have learned to associate emotional closeness with danger, unpredictability, or loss of independence. They have built invisible walls not because they want to hurt others, but because vulnerability once meant pain. The emotional shortcut we will uncover today involves two powerful psychological principles that seem to defy logic: the illusion of control and the scarcity effect. When applied correctly, these concepts create space for avoidant individuals to feel safe enough to lower their defenses. This approach requires patience, wisdom, and a complete reversal of everything your heart tells you to do. If you want to better understand someone's attachment style, see the link in the description to one of the most popular books on attachment theory. Consider the story of a woman named Charlotte, who found herself trapped in an exhausting cycle with someone who seemed to blow hot and cold. One week, their conversations flowed like water, filled with laughter and meaningful exchanges. The next week, silence. Messages went unanswered. Plans got postponed indefinitely. Charlotte felt like she was trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces, never knowing which version of this person would show up. Sound familiar? Charlotte made every mistake in the book. When he withdrew, she pursued. When he seemed distant, she tried harder to prove her worth. She sent longer messages, made grander gestures, and essentially handed over all her power. Each attempt to close the distance only seemed to widen the gap between them. Charlotte was unknowingly playing into the avoidant person's deepest fear: losing control and being overwhelmed by someone else's emotions. Think of Serena van der Woodsen from Gossip Girl, who often chased after Dan Humphrey when he pulled away, not realizing that her intensity sometimes made him retreat further. One day, something shifted in Charlotte's approach. Instead of her usual pattern of pursuit, she decided to pull back. Not out of spite or game playing, but from genuine self-preservation. She stopped initiating conversations. She made plans with friends. She focused on her own interests and goals. This wasn't about punishment or manipulation. Charlotte simply decided to reclaim her own sense of control and stop making someone else's emotional availability the center of her universe. Something remarkable happened. Within a few days, he reached out. Not with his usual casual tone, but with genuine curiosity about her well-being. The scarcity effect had begun to work its magic. When Charlotte was no longer constantly available, her presence became more valuable. When she stopped chasing, he had space to miss her. The first practical step involves mastering the illusion of control. Avoidant individuals need to feel like they have choices and agency in relationships. This means never cornering them with ultimatums or overwhelming displays of emotion. Instead of saying things like, "We need to talk about where this is going," try creating opportunities for natural connection without pressure. Plan activities that feel low stakes and enjoyable rather than intense heart-to-heart conversations. Think of it like offering someone a gift with no strings attached rather than presenting them with a contract to sign. The key is removing the feeling of obligation or expectation from your interactions. When avoidant people sense that their emotional response is being demanded or expected, their natural instinct is to retreat. Give them the space to choose connection rather than feeling forced into it. The second principle revolves around the scarcity effect, which suggests that people value what seems limited or hard to obtain. This doesn't mean playing games or being deliberately unavailable. Instead, it means maintaining your own full, rich life that doesn't revolve around their attention. Like Love Quinn from the Netflix series You, who sometimes became too available and intense, making her targets feel suffocated. The healthier approach involves being genuinely busy with your own interests, goals, and relationships. When you have a full life, your attention naturally becomes more valuable. Avoidant individuals often respect people who maintain their independence and don't lose themselves in relationships. Show them through actions, not words, that you are a complete person with or without their presence. The third element focuses on emotional regulation during interactions. Avoidant people are often hypervigilant about emotional intensity. They scan for signs that someone might become needy, clingy, or emotionally overwhelming. Keep your interactions light and positive whenever possible. Share your life and interests without making everything about the relationship or your feelings for them. Think of how Emily Cooper from Emily in Paris maintains her upbeat energy and focuses on her own adventures rather than becoming consumed by romantic drama. This doesn't mean being fake or suppressing your authentic self. Rather, it means choosing when and how to share deeper emotions strategically, in moments when they feel safe and receptive rather than forced or pressured. The path to connecting with avoidant individuals requires a fundamental shift in perspective. Instead of viewing their withdrawal as rejection, understand it as their way of maintaining emotional safety. This knowledge transforms everything about how you approach these relationships. Remember Charlotte from our earlier story. Her breakthrough came not from doing more, but from doing less. By stepping back and focusing on her own life, she created the exact conditions that allowed the avoidant person to feel safe approaching her again. The scarcity effect made her presence more valuable, while giving him back his sense of control made connection feel like his choice rather than her demand. This approach requires incredible patience and self-control, but the results speak for themselves. When you stop chasing, you create space for them to pursue. When you maintain your own life and interests, you become more attractive and valuable. When you remove pressure and expectations, you create safety for vulnerability to emerge naturally. The most important thing to remember is that this isn't about manipulation or games. These techniques work because they align with basic human psychology and respect the avoidant person's emotional needs. Start implementing these approaches gradually. Pull back from being the one who always initiates contact. Focus energy on your own goals and relationships. Keep interactions positive and pressure-free. Watch how these small changes create ripple effects in the relationship dynamic. The person who seemed so distant might just surprise you by stepping closer when given the space to do so safely.
Thank you for watching. If you want to learn how to better understand avoidance, relationships, and psychological biases, then subscribe to our channel, because you deserve beautiful relationships.